Did that not come on?
I
That's
think
April
you're
Fool's.
muted.
That's April Fool's. You know what? Let's start over again. Hello and welcome to March to the Pot, presented by Eternal Roofing. Roofing you can trust with your home, and that's no joke. It's April Fool's Day, Ben. I'm already going.
There you go.
This is in the episode's off to a fantastic start. It's season 3, episode 28. I am Cory Hogue, your host, producer, and once BearkatFans.com member, and now completely banned from Twitter X. Find me on social media at Cory Hogue Sports, CoryHogue Sports. Again, except for Twitter. I'm joined by the real ball knower of this podcast. He's the man behind at Sports of SHSU on Twitter and Instagram. Proud Bearkat himself, Ben Sorrells. And today is April Fool's Day. So I got a question for you, Ben.
Oh, boy.
What's a worse day to be born on and have your birthday? Is it April Fool's or is it like Christmas?
I was going to say like February 29th, because then you only get a birthday every 4 years.
Now, see, I would just not count those years.
Yeah, some people might see that as a good thing.
They just don't count. So I would not have a problem with that.
Yeah, between those two, maybe Christmas, because I feel like you're missing out on some gifts.
Yeah, right. Like, and anyone who has a birthday around Christmas, yeah, you get some, but the people just spent for Christmas for you. So, it could be a little bit less. And I just think that they get that. I'm glad I don't have a birthday around that time.
Yeah.
Well, if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, that's where we're at. You might notice I'm wearing a new hat today. The Round Rock Train Bandits. So part of today's show is actually going to be a bit of a history lesson on a couple different things, and we're going to start with the Train Bandits. Where's the second one? I guess I got to put you in all these. Well, this is going to be fun today on the show. All right. The Train Bandits dates back to 1878. The infamous Sam Bass and his gang of outlaws arrived in Texas. They were known as the most prolific train robbers in U.S. history, and nobody knew who they really were. They were just the Sam Bass gang, and they had been undetected. That came to an end in Round Rock, Texas, when Ranger A.W. Grimes nicked Bass while in crossfire with his gang at shootout, eventually leading to Bass's demise. The logo is a loose representation of the infamous train robber Sam Bass, often seen sporting a mustache and a cowboy hat. The gold coin in his mouth depicts the over $60,000 at that time, close to nearly $2 million today of newly minted gold that he and his gang robbed throughout their exploits. The city of Round Rock later named Sam Bass Road and A.W. Grimes Boulevard after the two historic figures, both of whom are laid to rest at the Round Rock Cemetery. I thought that was pretty darn cool, Ben.
Very cool.
By the way, I have a lot of these like media scenes, and I'm going to have to add you into each one of them now.
It's all right. They want to see you, not me.
That'll be fun. They don't want to see me. I promise you. Ain't nobody here to see me. All right. Let's get going with the Cats. There is so much to talk about, including football. Spring practice started. Ben, what do you have on that?
Yeah, just a few days in at this point. I think you're through day 4, which was yesterday. I haven't been to practice yet, but no. First thing that comes out of everybody's mouth is this team is so much bigger, longer, and more physical than last year's team. And I think we knew that was probably going to be the case just based on the talent you brought in. But that's the first thing everybody says. 93 players are in camp this year, which is so much higher than what you had last year and what you typically have. And part of that is mainly because of the one transfer window. First returns on new O-line coach Jack Bicknell sound very good. Sounds like he is a very tough, disciplined guy. And the O-line unit looks like it's in a pretty good spot right now. Landon Locke, QB1, have heard he's just oozing with confidence so far in spring. Great leader within the group as a sophomore. Everything you want to see out of the leader of the offensive unit and of the team. And then I know somebody that was there Thursday, and they were saying the D-line is one of the strengths of the team, but there was a transfer D lineman, won't say the name, that suffered a broken tibia that day, which might cause him an important piece to miss maybe a decent chunk of the season. So not great on the injury front there, but everything else seems to be pretty good and moving in the right direction through, about the first week of camp.
There's not really anything you can do about the injuries. I mean, they're going to happen. It's just how it goes. And you said a tibia, man, that might be worth redshirting at this point.
Yeah, I mean, just in my mind, that's probably a 6-month thing, and so you're looking at probably 4 to 6 weeks into the season, at least. So
yeah, that's half of the season right there almost.
Yeah, it sounds like the D-line group, and based on what you brought back with guys like Dylan Frazier, Cordell Pat, DJ Jackson, you brought back a good amount from that group, and then you brought in 3 or 4 quality transfers, so you have some depth, thankfully, but you never like to lose D-line depth.
No, you don't at all. Anything else from spring that you have learned?
Yeah, nothing really to this point. Like I said, we're just a few days in, still talking with some people. I think we'll know more as it goes on. Obviously, the first few days, it's not a ton of contact also, so you don't get a ton out of it. It's a lot of skill and drill kind of stuff. So we'll see as the weeks progress.
Oh, yeah, and that it's going to be fun. We'll keep having updates here as we go. Now we need to transition and talk about the transfer portal. And men's basketball has been seeing quite a few of those, starting with if you're watching, the man on the screen, Jacob Walker. Ben, that's a big loss.
It is. I don't want to say it was expected. I don't know if that's the right word, but you knew you were probably going to lose something from that guard group that could come back. Jacob Walker, Jacoby Coleman, Justin Begg, Po Boy King, who I've heard is applying for an additional year. You knew it was probably unlikely you were bringing all of them back. So it's obviously not what you want, but it would have been almost impossible to keep all of them. But it is a pretty big loss for a guy that stepped up and was probably your best player the last month of the season.
Yeah, big loss. And you can't blame him. I mean, look, there's big money, as we saw with Lamar Wilkerson, right, to go out there. And you can't blame a kid for taking what could be 7 figures in money.
Right. Yeah.
That's life-changing, no matter what you do for the rest of your life.
Right. And you were hoping maybe he comes back for another year and then elevates from there, but you can't blame the kid for wanting to look at another opportunity that could come with some life-changing money.
No doubt. Another one that left is Jackson Ford. What you got on him?
Yeah, showed a little bit of growth this year in his sophomore season. Appeared in 17 games before he tore his meniscus. So he was a guy that was probably going to be in a bench role for you again next year. I don't think he really projected as a starter, but I think it just deepens your need for a couple of forwards. You need guys at the 3, need them at the 4. You return a couple guards, you return 2 centers. So it really just kind of emphasizes your need for a couple of forwards from the portal. And I think that's where we'll see a lot of emphasis. You need, 1 or 2 more guards, and we've seen some transfer guards on campus in the past week, but you need probably 3 or 4 forwards to round out this roster next year, and losing him just emphasizes that need.
Yeah, I mean, any loss is tough to take, including this next one, which most people might not even have heard about. His name is Noah Benny, and he was a redshirt freshman. Is this a big loss, or is this another kind of depth piece, Ben?
He was a walk-on, so I mean, it wasn't a huge loss for next year's roster. I do think he's a quality player. I mean, from Houston, was a quality high school basketball player in the Houston area, can really shoot the ball, as you can see here in the tape. I think he's a guy that maybe in a couple of years could have maybe played for you, but yeah, not a guy that probably would have made an impact next year, and it's the walk-on spot. So you're probably just going to add another walk-on there. I think it is interesting in the practice tape. A lot of it, you have Luke Plyman and Joe Kulagowski, 2 of the assistant coaches, and they're with the team. So you could play 5-on-5 because you were only down to 8 players there for a while. So I thought that was interesting. So yeah, it's just you're probably going to fill it with another walk-on next year. And I think he's a guy that could definitely go play at the D2 level and be really, really good, Noah Benny.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, it sounds like a perfect D2 guy. So if you're a Lone Star Conference coach out there listening, get on this guy right here. We have another sport with another commitment this week. Soccer had one. What do you know about the recent soccer commit?
Oh, not a ton, but they are getting into the 2027 class. I do know Kendall Ayers. It sounds like she is very invested here and for the future. So it's good to see those commitments getting a few classes away. The 2027 class is a little over a year away. So good to see the program continue to build. I think it's their third or fourth commit in the 2027 class. So continuing to build this program moving forward. And it's good to see those commitments coming in.
Always is.
I was going to add too, I added it to the notes late, but Isaiah Manning did hit the portal also for Sam Houston. Obviously didn't play since I think 4 games into conference play, but that's another reason why the forward spot you need depth. I mean, you lose Damon Nicholas, you have those two guys hit the portal. And so you definitely need a 3, you definitely need a 4, you probably need 2 at both positions.
What are the odds of Po Boy getting another year? Because he could fill part of that 3, 2 and 3, really.
Yeah. He kind of played the 3 for you this year when you started Cashy Nat, Justin Begg, and then he was kind of playing the 3. So if Po Boy comes back, he could be a 3 for you. But I think you need more of a dynamic wing, someone like a Damon Nicholas, maybe that's a defensive stopper, maybe a long athletic guy that can shoot the ball. Because he's only about 6'4", 6'5", so you need a little more size to bring to the lineup.
There have been General Sam said, no sound but guy. Yeah, I know. Hopefully you can hear it now. It's April Fool's Day. Don't expect things to go smooth with me, right? Yeah, and they've got a lot of guys recruiting. There's people coming in on visits, so they're definitely working to fill all of the holes. Guess what? That does it for this first segment. We're going to hear a word from our friends over at Eternal Roofing. And when we come back, we're going to talk softball, a red hot softball team.
Eternal Roofing and General Contracting is your choice for integrity work in the Texas Hill Country. Taylor Andrus and crew provide experienced quality roofing services with a mission of roofing with faith, serving with integrity, and sheltering homes in the spirit of stewardship. Don't just take our word for it. Here's what satisfied customer Pamela Allen had to say about Eternal Roofing. They did a great job on our patio roof, came out quick for a quote. The quote was very reasonable, and they started and finished work well and quickly. Not a bad thing to say about Eternal Roofing. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email them taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
Big weekend for softball, Ben, and guess what? We get to hear that a couple of times today. Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. Middle Tennessee State softball team swept them last week. We call it a sweep. They're 24-15 overall, 9-3 in Conference USA, playing really, really well right now. And they won 2-0 on Friday. Both runs were scored in the first inning. And the highlight of that game was this catch that you're going to see here from Jordan Peno. Ben, I know it's not on a loop, but my goodness, she catches that ball right before she smacks the wall in foul territory.
Yeah, it was impressive, and I think it was the play of the week. The social media team put that out. Really impressive play there in right field.
Nice. Tiffany Sanchez had 7 innings. She got the victory, 4 hits, 2 walks, complete game, 9 strikeouts. An incredible performance by Tiffany Sanchez. Saturday, the Cats won 6-3. They had 4 runs in the first inning. They were jumping on Middle Tennessee early. Sydney Prihoda was the main player on that one on that Saturday. 3 for 3, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored. She had a 2 RBI single in the first, stole third in the third inning. She stole third, scored on an error to make it 5-1 for the Cats, and then she hit a triple to right center in the fifth to make it 6-3. Abigail Young, guess who's back? Abigail Young is back. It was so nice to see her back. She had 4 in the third innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Regardless, right now, it's just nice to have her back.
Yeah, huge for the rotation. She'll get back into the groove of things. And Friday night, it was cool to see a shutout in both softball and baseball in Huntsville. So that was cool. And then Sydney Prohoda, not a lot of people know, but I believe it's her dad, Luke Prohoda, is the all-time saves leader for Sam Houston baseball. So just continuing the legacy of that last name at Sam Houston.
Nice. Kendall Daniel picked up a save on that Saturday. 2 2/3 innings, 1 hit, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Very, very effective. And then on Sunday, had to go a little extra. 2-1, took 8 innings, but there was a walk-off by Veronica Harrison. If you're watching right now, you can see the video. She scored Sophia Lundstrom with her single, and, she was on her way to second. We'll just go ahead and say that as well as I bring Ben back on the screen. We have Kendall Daniel on that one. She had 7 innings. It was a complete game.
It was 8 innings.
8 innings, that's right. 8 innings, complete game. Let me find my notes here.
10 Ks, career high.
Yes. Yeah, it was 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts, and she did those 8 innings on 95 pitches. That is impressive. And that earned her Pitcher of the Week honors for Conference USA. This softball team, before we get into what's coming up next for them, Ben, they are red hot, and the hitting is doing well. They're scoring the runs they need, but the pitching depth and adding Abigail Young to it now, my goodness, this team is – I put it out on our social media account the other day. It's really getting me excited about this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the pitching. You can set up your weekend rotation now to go any combination of Tiffany Sanchez, Kendall Daniel, and Abigail Young. And if one of them, has an off day, you can just plug one of the others in. So you're really not asking somebody to throw more than a game and a half. And Kendall Daniel, pitcher of the week, threw 2 2/3 scoreless on Saturday, then 8 innings of 1-run ball on Sunday. And she's coming off a off-season shoulder surgery. So she barely made it back in time for the season. Isn't hitting this year. She played both ways last year. So just truly remarkable what she's doing.
They didn't have a midweek game this week because they moved their series up, the next series up for Easter. But when they do, now you have 3 options. It is really, this team could just dominate the rest of this season.
Yeah, there's really only 1 or 2 series that are even, a big competition for you. One of them is this weekend, and you don't play Liberty, who's another one of the teams at the top. So there's a real chance that this team can really push for a top 1 or 2 seed going into the tournament.
And that team they're playing this weekend?
Right now, we don't know a lot about Western Kentucky.
WKU.
Yeah.
But right now, we don't know a lot about Western Kentucky.
We don't know a lot about Western Kentucky, but I do know they're 8-4 in Conference USA, and they are 6-0 at home. 6-0 at home in conference play this year. This series is Thursday through Saturday, like I said, because of Easter.
It got moved. It's doubleheader Thursday, single game Friday now.
I did not see that this morning.
It got announced probably midday today.
Okay. I was probably busy playing the F1 game. PS5.
Right.
Yeah. They played WKU. Is it moved up for weather purposes?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. That is something we finally figured out in COVID we could do, and I like to see that the fact that we're still doing those things.
Yeah. So 2 big games tomorrow.
Yeah, 2 huge games tomorrow, and then on Friday they close it out, and next Tuesday they go to Stephen F. Austin, trying to avenge an 8-4 loss to the Lady Jacks on March the 10th, which, by the way, is the greatest day in the history of the world.
Is that your birthday or something, or your wife's birthday?
Oh God, it ain't. No, March 26th is the wife's birthday. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just saying.
Yeah.
Not gonna throw out, say what it's just the greatest day in the history of the world.
Yeah, and it would be even better with a Bearkat softball win. And if there's been one,
it would have been. It would have been.
Yeah. Well, if there's been one fallback for this team this year, they haven't played very well in the midweeks. You lost to Lamar twice, lost to SFA, haven't played spectacular in the midweek, so hopefully that can be a win.
Hope so. If you're enjoying the show, help us grow by rating and reviewing March to the Pod on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget, subscribe to our Substack page at marchtothepod.substack.com, March the number 2, thepod.substack.com, and find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube by searching for @MarchToThePod. And remember, that's the number 2. We're also proud to be members of the CUSA Podcast Roundtable with shows covering all 12 Conference USA programs. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to kind of do a hodgepodge around the farm. Why am I calling it the farm? We'll find out right after this word from our friends at Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing only uses the finest materials in the roofing business while providing an exceptional warranty. Why do they use CertainTeed products? Because they complement any appearance, provide exceptional and reliable strength, and are known for their enduring performance. Here's what Shane Sosa had to say about Eternal Roofing. Taylor and his team are amongst the highest level of professionals. They care about their customers and go above and beyond just doing the job. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539 or email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com.
So I'm using that new, they have a teleprompter feature on StreamYard. And earlier I kind of scrolled a little past it. That's why I had to go find my notes. But thankfully the notes are in there too. It just, I'm a little slow. It takes me a second to figure out when things don't go exactly right. That's how it works. So updates across the farm. Why am I calling it the farm? Ben, what is Huntsville, Texas known for?
Prisons.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Sam Houston, it's known as the prison capital of the state of Texas.
Yep.
It is. It is the home. It's the headquarters of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. And the history of Texas prisons being called farms stems from the late 19th and 20th centuries. Now, I learned a lot of this when I worked on a farm. I worked at a prison here in Wichita Falls, and they did some farming work out there as well. And they still sing some of the same songs that were sung back in the 1800s on these farms. It's really incredible to watch. The state transitioned from leasing convicts to private, often brutal agricultural plantations to owning and operating its own expansive prison plantation system. So they were loaning them out.
Yep.
And so now they're keeping them on the farm. Many of the prisons were located on former slave plantations, maintaining the system of forced unpaid labor that mirrored pre-Emancipation Proclamation life. Following Civil War, Texas prison population grew. The state needed money. They turned to leasing convicts. Private contractors paid for the labor of prisoners who worked primarily on railroads, mines, and most commonly farms. Now, you had to have guards with them, I would think, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I know they still do things like that. I was never general population, so I didn't do a whole lot of that stuff. But if one of ours in the administrative segregation or high security that I worked in had to go to the hospital, there were 3 of us with that one, right? We were watching these guys. And so I can't imagine having them out there on, railroads and mines and everything and having the guard staff with them. In 1908, prisons were officially designated as farms in Texas. And here's an interesting note. As of 2024, 24 Texas prisons still engage in agriculture business operations, and 9 are located on former plantations. That's some history for you.
Yeah.
It's
We've had history through the first 2 segments.
This is educational today. See, everyone probably thought, oh, God, it's April Fool's Day. Cory's going to have all – no, I'm a fool every other day. Why would I do it today?
Yeah.
Today to me is like normal person day.
You're fooling the people by actually not fooling people.
Not being a fool.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, let's get back into – let's go around what I'm calling the farm. The athletic programs at Sam Houston, men's golf, we're starting there. They're at the Merido Invitational in Carrollton, hosted by North Texas on Monday and Tuesday of next week. Men's and women's track and field, they're at the Clyde Hart Classic, hosted by Baylor in Waco on Friday and Saturday. We have some beach volleyball news. They were at the USF tournament last weekend. They lost 5-0 to USF, and they lost 5-0 to UTEP. They lost 4-1 to Sacramento State to close out the tournament, but that's not what we really want to talk about right now. That's right. They beat SFA 3-2 on Saturday. And as we talked about last week on the show, if you missed it, there's a lot of transfers from SFA when they closed the program before they reopened it on Sam Houston's team. That had to feel really good.
Yeah, it makes it even more sweet. Good to get a win with it being so early in this program's history. Always good to beat SFA in anything, and then got to be good for them to get that revenge after the program shut down and then came back.
Is there any sort of chant you have, like the anti-SFA type chant?
No, I had never heard one.
Okay. Some people do, some people don't. Beach volleyball, they're headed to Nacogdoches. Oh, poor people. On Friday.
Yeah.
They're headed there Friday for the Sandy Boot Scoot, hosted by SFA. They will meet the Lady Jacks once again, and then they play McNeese. It's the final matches, final tune-up for beach volleyball before the Conference USA tournament in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And a time reminder, Friday, NCAA bowling tournament begins, and the Cats
in Rochester
are in the Rochester Regional. They're playing Maryville on Friday. Go Cats. What do you think? Now we've had some time to kind of process the brackets. Last week, the brackets had just come out. What do you think their chances are of being successful this week in the NCAA?
I think it's really good. I think you were starting to peak at the right time, moving in the right direction. And outside of Vanderbilt, I don't feel like – I mean, Maryville's a pretty good program, but I think it's a program you could definitely win. It's a double elimination thing. So, I mean, you got multiple cracks at it. And Vanderbilt's a program you've had some success against. I mean, like I said last week, you avoided Jack State, and I think you've got as good of a shot as anyone in this regional to make it through. And last year you were the 2 seed, I believe, in your regional and made it through. So, yeah, just got to do your best, roll the ball, and see what happens.
See, that's how I bowl, but it's not successful for me.
Yeah.
Roll the ball.
Yeah.
You
roll the rock.
Yeah, and look, getting into the tournament, that's the key, right? You don't have a chance unless you get into the tournament. Now they're there, and they, like you said, they avoided Jack State. They have as good a chance as anyone of getting to the final weekend of the tournament.
Yeah, and you just never know. It's one of those sports where, I mean, it's really anybody's game.
It really is, because the lanes are different, the way the lanes are greased and whatever else I do know a little bit about this stuff. My parents were actually big-time bowlers back in the day in Wichita Falls. So they had their own shoes, their own balls, their own bags, all that stuff. And I didn't follow in their footsteps, obviously, at all. If you watch me bowl, good luck.
Spare your eyes.
I like that, spare.
Yeah.
It's a bowling reference. I got that one. That didn't fly over my head this time. Hey, tennis team, they're back in action. They're 8-11 overall, 3-1 in Conference USA. And they played Missouri State last week. And guess what? We had another sweep, 7-0 at home over Missouri State. They won 2 of 3 in doubles to take that very crucial doubles point in any match. Then they rolled through singles play. They only had the number 2 singles is the only match that went 3 sets. Everything else, the Bearkats swept them in 2 sets, straight sets. That was a very, very impressive weekend. They host New Mexico State on Thursday, another very winnable match for the Cats. They host Kennesaw State, who I think might be a little bit it's going to be a more difficult challenge on Saturday, and that's how they're going to close out the regular season. But, Ben, right now, you got to say, for tennis and this new facility, things are headed in the direction we were hoping they would be.
Absolutely. Yeah, after a few down years, you're really finally moving in the right direction, which is really good to see. Last year, you were 0-7 in conference play. The year before, you were 1-5 in Conference USA. So to be 3-1 and to have a chance to, finish 4-2, 5-1, that is a huge step forward. You got a chance to finish right around 500 on the year. So yeah, definitely moving in the right direction. This program has struggled since moving out of the Southland. So good to see things moving back in the right direction, and hopefully you can finish on a high note.
And football's not the only sport having a little bit of a spring. Volleyball is as well. And they had a turn. I don't know where they played.
It was so this last weekend was at A&M, and the week before was at SFA, I believe.
Okay. Well, they won. They beat Houston Christian 3-0. They beat SFA 3-2. Thank goodness. That's always nice to beat the Lady Jacks. They beat Houston 2-1. And when they played the reigning national champions, Texas A&M, they lost 3-1. They took a set from the reigning national champions. Should we start to kind of raise our expectations a little bit of the volleyball program heading into fall?
Yeah, similar to kind of tennis. This is a program that's kind of struggled since getting out of the Southland. Had one good year in the WAC where you won a division title. But yeah, I think it's definitely moving in the right direction. And it took a while for the program to kind of get back up to speed. But yeah, I got a text from someone on Saturday after those results and said that's been an incredible spring for this team, and those results show it. And you bring back a couple really nice pieces in Chloe Monson and Bella Wood. And then you have a huge transfer and freshman class of 6 coming in. So almost half the roster will be new. Again, this year, a couple JUCO pieces, a couple high school pieces. So yeah, I think you got to be encouraged for this year. These spring results are definitely encouraging because you were not beating teams like SFA or Houston in the non-conference the past few years.
To take a set against Texas A&M, right? I mean, look, there's a few teams: Nebraska, Penn State, Texas A&M. You take a set from them, you're doing something.
And I think it was 25-20 that set, and they led it the entire way, which is really encouraging.
That really, really is. We got to talk about baseball. We're getting there right after we hear one more time from our friends over at Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing is locally owned and dedicated to giving back to the community by supporting local organizations and charities. They are also the winner of Next Door's Neighborhood Faves for 2 consecutive years. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast, Eternal Roofing is your choice for Christmas lights. They provide premium lights tailored to fit your home, season-long maintenance, and hassle-free removal. Kyle Tatum said, "They're very professional and great quality, on time and clean, and really made me feel like they cared for me and my home." Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
Big thank you to our friends at Eternal Roofing as always. Don't forget, get on those Christmas lights. Hey, they fill up quickly, and it might be April. It's time to start thinking about Christmas lights, Ben.
Yeah, it creeps up on you.
It really does.
Yeah.
Like April crept up on me already.
I know. It's crazy.
Goodness gracious. And as we turn to April, the baseball team is at 500 right now. They're 14-14, 4-5 in Conference USA, chugging along. They took 2 of 3 from WKU at home last weekend.
Right now, we don't know a lot about Western Kentucky.
But we know they ain't beating the Cats in the series last weekend.
Yeah.
Let's start with Friday night. it was one heck of a game. Hunter Alvord hit a solo home run to give Sam Houston a lead in the 6th inning, I believe it was. It was his
I think it was
first.
the 7th. Yeah, 7th, something like that.
Okay.
It was late.
One of those innings that was not the first. We we have that put down. It gave them a 1-0 lead, and that was all they needed because of the right arm of Ryan Peterson. He pitched a complete game, one hitter, and that one hit was an infield hit. That is incredible. 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. He needed only 111 pitches to get that complete game. The infield hit was the 6th inning. That's what I was thinking about.
Gotcha.
The one infield hit was in the 6th inning. It was the first complete game shutout since opening night 2017. And an incredible note here that was in the game notes, first time Peterson went more than 7 innings in his college career.
Yeah, and I mean, what a game, what a season so far. And today he got named to Baseball America's midseason pitcher of the year watch list.
We're getting there, man.
Yeah.
He has, and we're going to go over that. Like his season stats, we're going to go over those here. But first, let's talk about him being named pitcher of the week. And I think that was probably the only option for pitcher of the week.
Yeah, well, and it's cool. Sam Houston sweeping the pitcher of the week honors this week with their Friday night shutouts.
Yes, that is really cool. And they, the pitchers did such a fantastic job. Now, we're going to spend a little more time talking about Mr. Ryan Peterson here. And his season stats. Let's go over those. You put them out the other day on Twitter. So that's where I got him from, actually. So shocking, I know. 44 innings pitched. He has a 1.43 earned run average, 0.841 whip. That is walks plus hits per innings pitched. To give you an idea, if you get to 1, you are doing really good with your whip, especially in college. When you're at 0.841, you are outstanding. 57 strikeouts, only 12 walks this season. And like Ben said earlier, he was named to the midseason college pitcher of the year watch list by Baseball America. And that wasn't the only honors he got. Perfect Game had midseason All-Americans released today, and he was named 3rd team. Did a little more digging. I was like, okay, look, I know he's got to be on the MLB draft boards, right?
Oh, yeah. There's scouts there all the time.
Oh, yeah, he is. Right now, Perfect Game has him the number 166 overall player on the top 300 board.
Yeah.
That's about 5th round, right?
Yeah.
I think if he keeps this up, he could probably – arms are more valuable a lot of times than the fielders are, and that he could be bumped up to a 3rd round by the time this is all over with. But I went in and dug a little bit more. Overall, he's the 74th pitcher of all of them. But when it comes to college pitchers, he's the 37th ranked college pitcher according to that draft board. That is a level that this guy is only moving up. And I would dare say that draft board is outdated right now.
Well, that was going to be my point. Was I feel like he just started to get on people's radars. Was maybe on him a little bit last year. The stuff was really good, but the numbers weren't really there. So I feel like he's just now getting on guys' radars. I think when it's all said and done, if he continues at this pace, I think he's a 3rd or 4th round guy. And I mean, I hope he is, because I mean he definitely deserves it. Comes from a great family. Got to meet him a little bit last year at the baseball auction, so definitely deserves it. And I think he ends up probably in the top 4 rounds somewhere.
Look, he goes, right? Like there's no question.
Yeah.
If you're in the top 5 rounds of Major League Baseball, unless you're playing MLB The Show, you're gone.
Yeah, it's going to be 1 million plus just as a signing bonus, and he's got the stuff. I mean, he sits 93 to 96 the entire night. Has a couple really good off speed pitches. the stuff will definitely play at the next level. And there's 10, 15 scouts at every one of his starts.
Oh, no doubt. And I think that number is going to go up after last weekend. We will keep track of that. It's going to be fun to watch throughout because the Major League Amateur Draft is in June. So that gives us something to really watch at a time when there's really not a lot of sports going on.
Yeah. Well, and my last point on him, too, I forgot to bring this up. I think the single season strikeout record for Sam Houston is 119 as a pitcher, and he's at 56, right at about the halfway point. So, I mean, he's right on pace with it.
He is. Now we got to talk about the rest of the team. But Saturday wasn't bad, right? They won 11-5. Saturday was really good. They scored 11 runs in the first 5 innings. They jumped all over. Caleb Cotton, he's the reason. 3 for 4, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, 2 runs. He was big with his bat on Saturday. Tyler Ryden got the win, 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 2 Ks. That will play, Ben.
Yeah, Ryden, a guy that started the year as the Saturday starter, was good and then had a couple of tough starts. They moved him to the bullpen last week on Saturday against FIU. He threw 5 1/3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen and then started on Saturday against WKU and was really good over those 6 innings. So good to see him get back into form. And he's been really, really good the last 2 weeks.
Sunday, though, was a struggle. The offense produced 4 hits. 3 of those were doubles, but they were all scattered. They lost 8-2, and they used 7 pitchers on Sunday, and they threw 212 pitches. And this is concerning to me, and we will get to that in just a second. Last night, they traveled down to College Station. They were in it for the first few innings before Texas A&M did what they do in that place. They won 16-2 in 7 innings. My concern for the baseball team right now and why I am not as optimistic about their conference tournament chances has to do with pitching depth. It feels like after the top 1 or 2, you've got a wonderful ace. You got Ryden, he can pitch. After that, right now, it seems like they're still searching for those guys. And listen, the only way you win a conference tournament in baseball is to have massive depth in your pitching staff.
Yeah, and it's been a staff overall that's been good for the year. But like you said, the lack of top-end arms is kind of a concern. And I think part of that, too, is there's so many young guys. There's so many freshmen that are in the bullpen or even in the rotation for you, like Tyler Ryden, or he's a JUCO guy that just moved up, but Colin Aloisio, he's a guy that's been in and out of the weekend rotation, has had some really high highs, some low lows. So, yeah, I think part of it is just the youth of this staff. I think if you give them 1 more year, they'll be in a good spot, but I think you're going to see a lot of good performances, and you're also going to see some bad ones, and that's just part of it being such a young staff and a lot of guys that moved up from the JUCO level also. But the stuff is there. I just don't know if it's as consistent as it needs to be.
It's really hard for freshmen high school, coming out of high school into college. You play so many more games in college. It's a long season. It will wear on you. It is a lot of travel. And so you're going to see the highs and the lows, and it takes some time to kind of get in and become consistent.
Yeah, well, the physicality of the game, being an 18-year-old versus a 20 or a 21-year-old, I mean, you're just a different person between those 2 to 3 years. And a lot of those kids at 18, I mean, the stuff will play sometimes, but sometimes it won't. But if you can give the fastball, 2 to 3 more miles an hour and some more ride on it, it's going to play better. And I think that's just part of the youth that's showing.
Oh, yeah. There is a massive difference between an 18 and 22-year-old, especially when you talk those 4 years. Those guys are in the weight room. They're getting all that extra training, specialized. Like, you don't have that in high school.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, it is a huge difference in that. Now, I've learned that there's a big physical difference between 3rd and 4th grade this year.
Yeah, I mean,
I have a fourth grader, Ben, on the Space Cowboys team. This guy's wearing the same size shoe as his dad. He's
Yeah.
as tall as I am, man.
it's crazy. Yeah, and that's part of this team too. I was saying if they could find a way to get to 25 to 30 wins, it would be a real big achievement, because going from 12 to 25 to 30 is the progress you needed to see. You weren't going to go to 40 or 45 most likely, especially with it being such a young team and there being so many ups and downs. But if they can find a way to get 27 wins, I mean, it's a step in the right direction.
They're halfway there. They've got 14,
Yeah.
and we're about halfway through the season. So they're on pace.
Yeah. And you've got some, like we said, that the hardest part of the schedule is kind of out of the way. You still have some of the lower level CUSA teams coming up. You still have some winnable midweeks in there at points. So I think there's still a path to somewhere between 25 to 30 wins.
Well, they're going this weekend. They can get a few more. They go to Missouri State. They're located in Springfield.
Yeah. Did you see that game last night?
Who did they play?
Missouri State, Arkansas.
No, I had on Auburn. What was on ESPN2? Auburn and Wake Forest, I think it was.
The Missouri State Arkansas game was crazy. Missouri State won it on a walk-off homer in the bottom of the 10th. I think it was 14-13. I mean, it was back and forth all night. Missouri State right now, them and Jack State are probably the two best teams in the conference. So it is going to be a huge test this weekend.
You hate to see that for the Woo Pig Sueys.
Yeah,
Right.
I know. No, well,
Yeah.
it got chippy too. It was because there were a lot of,
Shocking! You tell Arkansas got chippy?
well, there was a lot of Arkansas fans there, because I think it's only about an hour and a half from Springfield, and they play. This is a cool thing. They play where the St. Louis Cardinals AAA team plays in Springfield. They share a stadium, and it was sold out. I think there were 8,000 people there. So you're walking into a big environment this weekend.
Nice. I like that. That is going to be fun. Although this time of year, I am not stepping foot in Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah, weather.
The weather, man. This is tornado season, and every time I have ever visited Springfield, there's like a tornado, if not in the city, nearby.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was in Springfield about 2 months ago when they played Missouri State in basketball, and thankfully there was February is not as big of a weather month, but nothing going on.
Yeah, no, hey, that's good. I'll go in February. I'll go in any month not named April, May, and June. That's when I'll go to Springfield.
Yeah.
Missouri State, you mentioned there. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say their facilities they were a great addition to Conference USA. Their arena holds, I think, 12,000 people, has suites all around, double-decker arena, baseball. I know they put a lot of money into that stadium along with the Cardinals. Their football stadium's pretty nice. I mean, they were a great addition to Conference USA in my mind.
Well, hopefully they go down at least in 2 out of 3 games this weekend. They are 6-3 in Conference USA. Now, here's what I found odd. Friday, Saturday, Sunday series.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
That normally, because of Easter, most every college goes Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I would love to know why they might have decided to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I've been thinking the same thing since the schedule came out. It's one of the first times I've really ever seen that. And maybe if Sam Houston was going to go play, Missouri or Oklahoma State or Arkansas in a midweek on Tuesday, and you're just going to stay up there, that might make sense, but that's not really the case.
No, you went to both of them played. You play on a Tuesday, you got a day off, travel, whatever, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Maybe they didn't want to mess up their routine. It just, I promise you the Space Cowboys aren't having practice on Sunday. I ain't stepping on all that.
Yeah, that was interesting. I've thought the same thing. I'd never really seen it like that.
Well, it used to always be that way.
Well, at least recently, yeah.
Yeah, like in the last probably 15, 20 years, they haven't been. So that's interesting. Cats return home on Tuesday. They're continuing the Don Sanders Cup.
That's the rubber match.
The rubber match. You got to win that one. You win that one, and you retain the cup 2 straight years.
Yeah, I think it would be the first time you retain it back-to-back years, because it's only been around a decade. or so.
Okay. Well, that does it for today. We got done in plenty of time to go watch the space shuttle launch today, Ben.
Yeah, 30, 40 minutes out.
T-minus, right?
Yeah. Sam Houston Athletics to the moon, right?
Space Cowboys. Duh.
Yeah, that too.
Right?
Yeah.
Space Cowboys. We love space and
Yeah.
Cowboys.
Mandatory team meeting to watch it, right?
Yeah.
Everybody come back with notes about what you watched.
That's right. That's right. We all want. We're going to talk about that, and maybe that'll work better than our baseball awareness because we don't have much of that yet.
Yeah.
That is a wrap for this episode of March to the Pod, presented by Eternal Roofing. We want to say thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back most likely next week, God willing. Enjoy your Easter. Enjoy the holiday weekend. If kids in school nowadays, they get 4 days out, a lot of them, Ben.
Crazy.
It is nuts. At best, I got 3 days when I was in school. I feel robbed.
Yeah, I got like 1 or 2.
Yeah. We will be back with more Bearkat athletics coverage soon. Until then, Ben, take us home.
Eat 'em up, cats, and let's go to the moon.
But don't send Jesus to the moon. He already rose once.